Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said he absolutely made the right choice in invoking never-used emergency powers to end last winter's truck protests. Mr. Trudeau made the comments during an appearance on Friday before an inquiry looking into Canada's use of the Emergencies Act. He said he didn't feel police had a proper plan in place to end the anti-vaccine mandate protests. Protests had gridlocked Ottawa and blocked key border crossings for weeks. The act, in place between February 14 and February 23, helped bring an end to 3 weeks of Freedom Convoy protests in Ottawa and elsewhere in Canada. It allowed the government to impose bans on public assembly, to prohibit travel to protest zones, and gave it the ability to freeze bank accounts, among other measures. Critics say Mr. Trudeau's invocation of the Emergencies Act was an overreach of government power and could set a precedent for its use to quell future protests. The Public Order Emergency Commission, which is examining whether the Trudeau government was justified in invoking those powers, has been hearing from a series of witnesses, including police, intelligence officials, and protesters, for the last 6 weeks. Mr. Trudeau is the final person to testify. He told the inquiry he was concerned the protests posed a threat of violence, and his goal was to keep both protesters and the public safe. As the Ottawa protests continued into February, and grew to include blockades at the Ambassador Bridge and Coutts border crossings, he said it became clear events were not dissipating. In a mid-February raid, police found a cache of weapons among a small organized group within the larger Coutts protest, among the things Mr. Trudeau cited as a specific concern. "We were seeing things escalate, not things get under control," he said. The inquiry also heard that Mr. Trudeau spoke with President Joe Biden during the protests, seeking to reassure his U.S. counterpart that Canada remained a reliable partner and a safe neighbor in spite of the blockades. On Thursday, Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland told the inquiry that the White House had expressed alarm when protesters blocked the Ambassador Bridge, a border point vital to North America automakers. An independent inquiry after the Act's use is required under the law, and a final report on the findings will be tabled next February.